I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but a large portion of male content creators are the reason that young men are becoming so weird. If right now you're a teenager or just somebody below the age of 25, you probably know who Adin Ross is. Adin Ross is probably the second biggest streamer in the world, right behind Kai Cenat. But Adin Ross is a perfect example of a content creator who leads young men down a dark, dangerous path. When Adin Ross first started blowing up in 2020, it was for nothing weird. There was nothing wrong with the content he was putting out. Every now and then he would take a prank maybe a little too far, like this prank right here when he sits on a man in his boxers while the man is bench pressing.
I don't need a spot. You sure? I don't need a spot. You sure need a spot? I don't need a spot, bro. Hold on. Guys on there.
While this is a prank, I'm not really going for that type of shit, but there's no real controversy behind it. At the end of the day, it was just a prank. When it came to content creation, Adin Ross was on top of the world. He was playing games like NBA 2K, which a lot of young people are really into. They love playing video games. The only difference between them and Adin Ross was he took it up a level. When he was playing NBA 2K, he was playing with Bronny. Yes, the son of the greatest basketball player of all time. My handsome and glorious king LeBron Raymond James. But over the years, the bigger he got, the more freedom he had in content creation. Now he wasn't just reacting to music videos and playing 2K. Before Kai Cenat had Drewski, Kevin Hart, and every celebrity on his stream, Adin Ross was the first to do this. Adin Ross literally walked so Kai Cenat could run. I'm not saying Adin Ross made Kai Cenat, but Adin Ross took streaming to a level it had never been before. Adin Ross, he was in the music industry. You've probably heard this freestyle on Adin Ross stream. A lot of people forget a lot of viral moments came from Adin Ross. But over the years, Adin Ross has done something completely different. He added a group of dangerous people to his community. If you don't know who Andrew Tate is, he is a bald-headed Romanian guy who used to be a professional kickboxer. He was actually very good. But then he realized he can make a little bit more money. And this is not by booking more kickboxing fights. He's not making this extra money working a 9 to 5. He's making this extra money being a fake role model to young men. Adin Ross has had this strange man on his stream not just once, but now twice. Before Andrew Tate even got famous, you want to hear how he said he made his money?
The first big money I ever made in my life, I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio. So I had beautiful women sitting on computers talking to guys on webcams. That's how I first made my money. And me and my brother made a lot of money doing that.
I want you guys to remember that he said he would use women for content to get him rich. This is very important for later in the video. But when Andrew Tate truly began to get rich was when he made this thing called Hustlers University. Doesn't this just sound like a scam? Something that you shouldn't be spending your money on? If that's the case, maybe your brain is just a little bit more developed. But with young men, they don't think that way. And Andrew Tate, he knows this. So he started Hustlers University. And it is a subscription. It is just like Netflix. It is just like your phone bill. You pay every single month to be in this community. This community is full of like-minded people who look up to Andrew Tate. Every month you're paying this money to hopefully get rich off the advice that Andrew Tate is giving you. But that's just not the case. But Andrew Tate is not famous for this Hustlers University. He's famous for the controversial things he says on the internet. Andrew Tate is somebody that Adin Ross is pushing heavily in his community. But look at some of the things that Andrew Tate says on the internet.
I was talking about an OnlyFans company when that question was asked. But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his. Yes, that's what I said.
Well, that's crazy.
You think if a man...
That one's crazy.
Andrew Tate is somebody who calls himself a high-value man. But what kind of conversation is this? This is the most brain-dead conversation I've ever heard. Why is this the subject matter of his conversations? None of the important men in history like Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Albert Einstein, they were not talking about if a woman gets laid, if she should give her boyfriend a cut. But this is how Andrew Tate operates. Instead of talking about powerful women like JoJo Siwa, Kim Kardashian, Hillary Clinton, instead of talking about these important women who do so much for society, he chooses to focus on OF models. He often brings up OF models to make all women look bad as a group. And he does this to make young men who are watching him hate women as well. Because that is what Andrew Tate is, a woman hater.
She obviously is going to get drunk one night and suck some dick. We know that. You know that. Everyone knows that.
One of the weirdest things that Andrew Tate does to make himself sound more reasonable is he straight up tells you that he's not a good person. He straight up tells you, I am a sexist.
I'm a realist. And reality is sexist.
And when he says that, that makes him feel that whatever he has to say next is justified. I am somebody who has hot takes all the time. I don't think Michael Jordan is top 3 all time. That is a hot take. But when I'm starting my hot takes, I don't start off with reality is sexist. Reality is racist. But that's what Andrew Tate does. After starting his sentence off like that, he feels he can say whatever he wants and it's not crazy anymore. And sadly enough, this is not the only dangerous person that Adin Ross has platformed. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps my channel out a lot. As soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm posting on here every single day. Adin Ross has also platformed a strange man known as Nick Fuentes. If you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, he's basically a walking, breathing Call of Duty lobby.
Hey guys, it's Manla Isaac, and today I'm gonna play Call of Duty until I get called the N-word. Let's see how long it takes. Hey guys, so when are we gonna learn?
Dude, you stupid! All he ever does is say something that is controversial, racist, sexist. This is all Nick Fuentes is known for. It's not like he's some rapper who is also controversial like DaBaby. This guy Nick Fuentes is such a bad guy that Adin Ross had him on stream. This woman right here, her name is Naima. She refused to go on Adin Ross's stream. She said this because she refused to platform somebody like Nick Fuentes. Honestly, bravo to her, because for 20,000, I will argue with the devil right now.
For 50 million, I go to hell. For 50 million, I go to hell.
Turning down that money shows that she stands on what she truly believes in. And if you think this woman is overreacting for not going on Adin Ross's stream, she's not. Look at what this guy had to say the morning after Donald Trump won the election.
Hey bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, it's your body, my choice.
And after it went public that this girl decided not to go on Adin Ross's stream, look at what Adin Ross had to say.
I think it's kind of hilarious that Adin Ross tried to pay a girl $20,000 to talk to him and she still said no.
I offered you $20,000. I make 10x, 15x just from having you and Nick do it. So you're basically like my little, you're like my little content for the day, and I get to make a lot of money off of you.
Who is Adin Ross feeling like? Adin Ross has been disrespected so many times on the internet. Playboy Cardi showed up and robbed him.
Okay, so we had a couple bags of money there, and I remember I handed him the money on stream, and the money on stream we handed him was like 200,000, I think. We were smart. The other money was, somewhere else. And, Kick paid for it.
Playboy Cardi showed up late to his stream, walked off with a whole bunch of money. Adin Ross didn't have any of that energy for a grown man. But when a woman says she doesn't want to be on his stream because he is platforming dangerous individuals, this is the type of energy he has?
Let's be honest, chat. After Trump wins or Kamala wins, nobody's gonna give a fuck about these people.
He called her his little content slut. What a weird thing to say, right?
You're like my little content.
Most men would not say that about a woman, but I can think of one person who would.
The first big money I ever made in my life, I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio. So I had beautiful women sitting on computers talking to guys on webcams from all around the world.
Do you guys see what I'm getting at here? Over the years, Adin Ross has not only become a person who platforms bad people, he himself has become a bad person. He was never a saint, don't get me wrong, but he was never the complete bozo that he is right now. But hey, he's making millions of dollars right now, so there's not much we can tell him. If you want to know something that has truly caused more damage than somebody like Adin Ross, just look at podcasts. A lot of people on the internet believe that we should raise the price of podcast equipment. That is because so many bozos and idiots are on the internet with a podcast now.
Do you remember the first that I
What are
gave
you gonna ask on this
Do you
podcast? First what?
BJ.
I actually do.
I felt like a failure from that point because
He didn't finish.
I know. Yep.
No.
You didn't.
And I'm not gonna lie, most podcasts be straight garbage. But now there's podcasts that are so dangerous that they're like the Venom symbiote. If you're somebody familiar with Spider-Man, you know exactly what I mean. A lot of young men are just minding their business, their hands in their pockets, just having a good day. But once they come across one bad podcast, that podcast turns them to an extremely angry person. I can tell you guys, I've seen this firsthand. When I was in college, I used to be friends with this black dude. He was in love with Kevin Samuels. If you don't know who Kevin Samuels is, he is a podcaster who only went viral for making fun of black women. He passed away in 2022, and while that was a very sad situation, it doesn't take away from the fact that he was like the boogeyman for black women. Like, he had a lot of clips on the internet, but the only ones that went truly viral were the ones when he was making fun of black women. And when I say he was making fun of black women, I'm talking straight belt to ass. Before my homie in college ever found out about Kevin Samuels, he was a regular guy. He would see a black girl across the street and he would say, oh, she look good. He would say, oh, that's my type. But the more Kevin Samuels he consumed, the more weird he became. One time he randomly told me 3 out of 5 black women are obese. I didn't ask him anything. He just told me that.
Woke up, I look at the computer say, Floyd said,
fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
My homie had consumed so much Kevin Samuels content that now he was regurgitating it. He was going out and spreading Kevin Samuels quotes like he was saying the words of the Lord.
Okay, so if I wanted a high value man, what do I do?
Be reincarnated. You can't get one.
Like that clip right there, it's funny as hell, I'm not gonna lie. But who is the butt of the joke? A black woman. And he had a new clip like this every single day just going viral.
Where would you rank yourself on the marketplace?
8.
Out of what, 100?
And as he grew in popularity, he found out what was working for him, so he didn't stop. He kept going after black women. Every time he saw one video go viral, he said, you know what? Matter of fact, here go 2 more for y'all.
Thank y'all for taking on this ride with me. Yeah. You know what? Here go 2 more for y'all.
But Kevin Samuels is not the only dangerous podcast. In my opinion, the most dangerous podcast on the entire internet is the Joe Rogan Show. He swears to his voters that he is only a moderate. He tells them he is not a Democrat, but he is also not a Republican either. But the most hypocritical thing about him is that he has a lot of extremely right-leaning people on his show. And when these people are on his show, they feel at home. They're laughing, having a great time together. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm gonna put it in NBA terms. Joe Rogan is saying that he doesn't have a favorite conference, but on his show, he has people like Jokic, LeBron James, Stephen Curry. He has Ja Morant and Victor Wembanyama on his show. And while all these Western Conference All-Stars are on his podcast, he spends a lot of the time talking bad about the Eastern Conference. And while he is doing all this, he is saying that he doesn't prefer a conference. It is clear this dude prefers the Western Conference. This is who Joe Rogan is. If you want to know a strange person he's had on the show, look at Alex Jones. This is the man who said the Sandy Hook school shooting was fake. He said it never happened.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Rebecca Jarvis with the latest on the deadly shooting at an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut.
27 dead in the shooting incident. It appears that more than a dozen of those may be students from this school.
26 people died, 20 children and 6 adults who were grossly underpaid and did their job because they had a passion for building up children. These beautiful souls were not lost, they were crushed. Their families were devastated on the day it happened. But instead of having empathy for these people, Alex Jones told his viewers, his very large audience, that the school shooting never happened, that the families were crisis actors, that they were paid actors. Fans of Alex Jones sent these grieving families hate and threats for years. Some families had to move because they were getting harassed and stalked. They were getting death threats, all because of Alex Jones. While Alex Jones was doing this, Joe Rogan had him on his podcast several times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Joe Rogan has one of the most successful podcasts on the planet, but he is promoting such a dangerous person. And you also got to remember, 70 to 80% of his viewers are men. Ben Shapiro is another man he had on the show. This is a man who recently said that Derek Chauvin should be free.
If we are issuing pardons, however, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. It would be incredibly controversial, but I think that it's absolutely necessary. That person is Derek Chauvin.
Joe Rogan claims to be a man who is a moderate, but he has a man on his show advocating for the freedom of a man who senselessly killed a black man in broad daylight. Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd in the clearest 4K video I've ever seen. There is only one group of Americans who want Derek Chauvin free. That is extremely right-leaning Republicans. Just because Elon Musk was on the podcast just 1 month before he did his you-know-what, before he hit the move, that doesn't make Joe Rogan a Republican. If you watch something only once or twice, you might just think it's stupid. You might think it's a little funny. But when you are constantly watching Adin Ross hang around women haters, you see him hanging around people who are white supremacists who are saying things like,
"Your body, my choice."
You start to become more accepting of such outlandish views, whether you want to or not. When you tap into a guy who likes making fun of black women and you watch that man on a daily basis, how is that going to shape the way that you see black women in your day-to-day life?
How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
How much do you weigh?
That's none of your business. I told you I was fat.
Oh, okay. We don't play that shit on my channel. You get your big fat ass on somewhere then.
Think of this garbage content like getting in a hot tub. Right when you get in a hot tub, it low-key burns, right? That's what it's like being a young man on the internet. In these communities, you hear shit that you wouldn't hear anywhere else. Free Derek Chauvin. Your body, my choice. If you're a regular person, you would hear this and think that's not normal. Good people don't say those sort of things. Right? You might even say that's a crazy thing to say. But like with the hot tub, the longer you're in there, the more it doesn't burn anymore. Eventually, the hot tub is not even that hot. It kind of feels good. And that's when you start hearing things like the Sandy Hook school shooting was fake, and you start to maybe believe it, because guess what? It's not the craziest thing you've ever heard. It's not even the craziest thing you've ever seen. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, please subscribe, and as soon as I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm posting on here every single day.